tell you what's good about that as well, Joshua 1, I think it's verse 8 or 9, it talks about him reading in an undertone. You ever heard that expression, read in an undertone? Do you know what an undertone is?
No.
Well, it's where you actually vocalise. Just let's have a look at it quickly while it's come to mind, Joshua. I think it's verse 8 if I remember to just suddenly remembered.
Joshua, which chapter, sorry? 1.
Yeah, verse 8. This book of the law shall not depart from your mouth, but you shall meditate in it day and night, that you may observe to do according to all that is written in it. For then you will make your way prosperous, and then you will have good success. Now, if you go to the original Hebrew, that's I remember now, the original Hebrew, where it talks about meditating it day and night, it gives the idea of speaking in an undertone, which is when you sort of read like that, you read the words.
It's like reading to yourself, you mean?
Reading to yourself, yeah. And of course, if you want to learn something and want to impress it on your brain probably twice as more effectively, is to not just read it and think the words, but read it and vocalize the words, say the words. So the idea was that Joshua may have been asked to actually read of the law of Jehovah like this, leave the law of God like this. See, talking out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Reading in a context. And I think sometimes we forget about this, because Paul said he'd rather be absent from the body, yeah? Didn't he? And at home with the Lord. But we're still awaiting
redemption of our body.
Redemption of our body. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So just an interesting topic or an interesting subject, because the Gnostics, what did they deny? What particularly did they think was evil and wrong and bad about man?
Body.
The body, yes. What did they seem to think about the body? That it was a kind of a prison. Yeah. That it was sinful, and that we should shed it off. And that actually comes from Greek philosophy.
Yeah.
But what's going to happen in the future is something quite marvellous, and that is that when Jesus comes again with the dead, yeah, we'll meet him and they in the air. There'll be the marriage of the bride in heaven, and we'll receive what? Bodies, yes.
Resurrection bodies.
Resurrection bodies, glorified bodies. And this is important because some people misunderstand what the resurrection is. They seem to think that when you're resurrected, it means you come back to life. That is not the case. You don't come back to life. What you get is your body. That's what happens at resurrection. The resurrection is of the body when basically you're clothed in your glorious body. Because if we all thought that the resurrection was just coming back to life, then we could misunderstand and think that, well, we could fall into something called soul sleep. I don't know whether you've heard of soul sleep before. Yeah? It's the idea, well, what is it? The idea of soul sleep.
I've heard of it, but I'm not entirely sure that I could define
when you
it.
die, you just sleep until you rise again.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, exactly right.
Well, the Bible does talk about those who've fallen asleep, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Now, why do you, just out of interest, why do you think it would use the expression sleep? You know, Jesus also talked about Lazarus. He said he's gone to sleep, and they laughed, didn't they? Why do you think he uses the word sleep? Why didn't the Jews used The word sleep. Ever seen a dead body?
No.
No?
Ah,
You have. What did it look like?
dead. Lifeless.
Lifeless.
Asleep.
Asleep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it looked asleep. That's right.
So
So
I mean, just to
Yeah.
go on what you're saying about having bodies and so on.
mm,
There's the time where Jesus is transfigured on the mount,
yeah,
and Moses and Elijah, isn't it,
yeah.
appear as well,
Mm,
and they have bodies, don't they?
yes, yeah,
In order for they have bodies and for some how they recognise them and
Yes.
so on.
yes.
But
What do you think? This is a good question. What do you think was going on there?